with our voices for a really long time. Indeed, we probably used our first breath to do it when we entered this world through Mom. And we haven't stopped. And while our way of expressing has become more complex and refined, that is, we're able to do more good and evil with it, we spend an awful lot of time speaking or making sound that isn't helping us or anybody else. And we listen, just on the kind of receptive end of things, to a lot of stuff that isn't supporting us in happiness and well-being. As a matter of fact, some of it's, a great deal of it, is toxic, both the stuff that we get from outside and the stuff that we create for ourselves. Okay? So, from the ancient times, human beings have recognized that their minds and their hearts go where their voices send them. So whatever you say or sing has something to do with what you're thinking about and feeling. Wouldn't you all agree? Even if you're being hypocritical or you're trying to deceive, it's still expressing something of you, yes? So this tradition, or this actually cluster of traditions around the whole world and throughout time, they've all recognized that you use our capacity to generate sound in order to have a direct experience of what we love best. In other words, if you love on something with the greatest possible intensity, you'll feel it. And it's kind of like wagging the dog's tail to make him happy. And we the dog. You get it? So, it's kind of like reliably going to take you there if you go for the ride. How do you do that? You make some sound. Okay? So the rules of the game are, just like if you went to a yoga class, you'd go through the postures. Please, I invite you, and with the promise that it'll work, let yourself love something. And every one of the mantras expresses a perfection. So when we make this sound form of the divine, the sound form of the supreme, over and over and over again, what we're doing is, in each mind moment, getting a chance to glimpse this, what you love best, and to have that direct encounter with the supreme that happens when you fall deeply in love with what is most worthy of your love in that moment. Of devotional chanting is to rest and enjoy the silence that making a lot of noise makes possible. If you try to be quiet, what happens? Right? The to-do lists and the complaints and the unfinished arguments and the hurts and the delights and the distractions of all sorts. Right? And it's overwhelming at times. And we can get really prickly and start bad-vibing the people that are around us really easily, right? Because we're sensitive. So what do I do to put the brakes on that when I feel that slide? Well, trade in the 10,000 things, not for zero. I'm sorry, you can't go to zero. Okay? But what you can do is go from 10,000 to 1 at a time. You just have to choose to fill this mind moment with this particular content, and here's how. Okay? Your mind will go where the voice sends it. Whatever you repeat to yourself often enough, eventually you'll wear out the mind. You want the dog to stop barking, give it a bone. Right? Because then the dog is all about the bone. And there's nothing else can touch the dog's awareness when it's in the bliss of the bone. Okay? And if you get in its way, if you try to get in between the dog and its source of bliss, the dog will lash out like its life is at risk. What are you going to make your bone? Are you going to gnaw on toxic despair or complaint, or on the one hand, you've got that, right? And then there's something else that you can choose, okay? How do I get it? How do I generate it? Well, you give yourself a reminder. That's what repeating the mantra does. It presents to your awareness a sound that you're making, and also acting as an audience for. You hear you. And it doesn't matter whether it's chant or an argument or ordering soup at a restaurant. It's all using sound in order to organize this next moment. I'm trying to bring about something. Okay? And I use my voice to get much of that done. And I use my thinking to get even more of it done. And what is thinking but talking to yourself? Okay. If you make a sound, and you make it often enough, it's going to shape what you think and feel. And you know this. You know this. Nobody needs to tell you it. So let's feel it. Let's feel it. Let's choose to repeat something that's beautiful for the sake of having a direct experience with something that's beautiful.